Now it's time for today's perspective, and it's estimated that more than 55,000 people have fled from Sinja in southeastern Sudan in the last few weeks. Now that figure's from the UN's humanitarian office, as fighting continues to rage in the country between paramilitary forces and the regular army. Tens of thousands of people have been killed across the country overall, triggering one of the world's worst humanitarian disasters. The latest, though, at the weekend, the paramilitary rapid support forces said they'd taken Sinja. These images of their forces in the town. Civilians, though, left fleeing the area in panic to escape. We're going to talk now to Eatizaz Yousif, who's at Sudan Country Director for the International Rescue Committee. Thanks very much for joining us on the programme today. The war's been going on now. It began in April of last year. Since then, tens of thousands of people have been killed. Many, many more have fled their homes, haven't they?
Yeah, thank you very much for having me, and thank you for really shedding some light on the Sudan crisis. I guess following almost like 14 months of escalation of conflict in Sudan between RSF and SAF, Sudan became the world's largest hunger crisis and the largest displacement crisis, with the large humanitarian suffering in Sudan. Definitely the conflict in different parts of the country triggered a huge wave of displacement. And now because the conflict expanding, so even the safe space for the Sudanese to flee, it shrink. And now most of the population, they've been really crowded in a very narrow, safe areas in Sudan.
Yeah, presumably that renewed fighting in the Sinjar area is making the situation even worse.
Exactly. And actually, Sinja is the area that it is hosting the displacement from Khartoum previously and from Gezira since last December. So also this displacement and the IDPs is being displaced twice or third time this time.
So where people are fleeing to, presumably that's not safe either. That's why they've had to move on so many times already.
Exactly, because this is trigger a wave of multiple displacement. Now the Sudanese, the majority of the displaced population from Sinja, they are fleeing to Al-Gaddarif state, which also an state is being overcrowded by multiple displacement happen in Khartoum and in Gezira, and I guess it's overwhelming and already. And state it have their own challenges with the very poor infrastructure, and also traditionally is hosting a large number of Ethiopian refugees, and then they have been really struggling to find a place to accommodate all those number of IDPs. Now they are getting to Gaddarif, and from the photo you see they are sitting under trees. They have been staying in public facility, including schools.
What is it like for those people? I mean, presumably it depends where they are. I mean, are they able to get food? Are they able to get any medicine, for example?
So I guess the humanitarian actors, they have been struggling to provide the needed support. I do believe with the government of the local authority, they've been trying to accommodate them. But with that large number, I guess aid is not able to provide. But also in Sudan, there is a mutual aid and local responders. Also, they are trying to provide as much as good, that is providing shelters, providing some ready food, and also some sort of mobile health clinics. But it is really overwhelming because it is overcrowded reception centers.
People have also been fleeing abroad, haven't they? I mean, indeed, the situation is so bad. The UN said just this week that it's actually expanding its Sudan aid plan to new countries, Libya and Uganda, after tens of thousands of refugees fled there in the last few weeks.
Yeah, because I guess traditionally, if you look at the area that like Sudanese, they have been trying to seek refuge is Chad, Egypt, South Sudan, and those neighboring countries, they have their own set of challenges. And I do believe also the region, they don't really have buffer to absorb all those people. So with Egypt having almost 500,000, with South Sudan have 600,000, Chad, they have also almost like 500,000. People then been trying to seek other areas, although like Uganda is not at the border. People, they really taking South Sudan as a route to get to Uganda, and then Libya. And mostly for them, they are looking for better infrastructure. And also, majority of the refugees now, they are fleeing from urban setting. So they are looking for better employment opportunity. And for us, we've been really alarming, like this regional, the region, it has, this Sudanese crisis has a very wide regional impact, and also most probably it have a global impact for informal migration.
Yeah, you did make that point there, that these countries have their own problems. I mean, it does show, doesn't it, if people are having to flee to places like Libya, how desperate they must be and how bad the situation must be in Sudan.
And South Sudan also.
Yeah, because that is a difficulty too. So what do you need to be able to help? I mean, do you think the aid agencies coping or not at all?
So I guess for us, the key advocacy and policy demand is taking immediate action to stop the fighting, because fighting is the major drive and trigger for this massive displacement. Also encouraging all conflicting parties to immediately remove impediment to aid delivery and ensure that the humanitarian assistance getting to the needy people. And also, I guess we need to re-energize the diplomatic process to de-escalate the conflict, and also ensuring that the humanitarian response is getting the enough resources, because the humanitarian response plan, which is being pledged for 2.7 billion, is being funded only by 16%. So also that massive response, it really underfunded so far in Sudan.
And you said they're talking to the parties to try and stop the fighting. I mean, do you have any realistic hope of being able to do that?
I guess so far is I do believe there's a huge failure to really trying to get to any sort of peace agreement. We have 17 failed peace agreements so far since the conflict started. So I do believe we need to ensure that we have enough diplomatic effort to ensure that at least we are getting to some sort of cessation of hostility, and ensuring to have a peace talk. It can be lead to long-lasting peace agreement.
Looking a little wider at this issue, if you like. I mean, Sudan is a subject that we do cover here on France 24, but as you said right at the beginning, thanks very much for covering it. I mean, it's being thought of, if you like, of one of the world's forgotten wars. There are so many other issues, the situation in Ukraine, the situation in Gaza, the environmental situation, which are taking up the headlines. How difficult is it, if you like, to bring people's attention to the situation in Sudan?
I guess sadly, the humanitarian situation in Sudan is being really underreported, is not getting the attention that it requires. I do believe the competing priorities and ongoing crisis globally, it dragged the attention from Sudan, especially Gaza and Ukraine. And also, I do believe the geopolitical aspect of it is not is getting that enough political attention. And I do believe that the world is completely failing Sudan in that aspect.
And that must be very disappointing and depressing for you.
Yeah, it is so painful, and I guess there's a lot of frustration among us as the humanitarian actor to ask for support and to get the attention that this humanitarian require. And I don't know if you see the recent IPC report that is being released. It's showing that also Sudan is getting to a huge hunger crisis, with almost more than half of the population. They are in urgent the food security assistance, and almost like 750,000 they are at emergency level, which that is the first time since the war started is being reported. And the majority of those population, they've been trapped in the fighting area that include Darfur, Kordofan, Al Jazeera, and Durman.
Good to talk to you on the programme today. Thank you very much for being with us. Eatizaz Yousif joining us there from Khartoum from the International Rescue Committee. Thanks very much.
Thank you very much for having me. Thanks.